So this is a pretty fascinating story that just came out. It's about the Nina Turner Shontel Brown race, and it's once again the corporate king, big pharma king, Jim Clyburn, who was very instrumental in Joe Biden's victory in South Carolina, that ended up propelling him towards ultimately emerging victorious in the presidential race. But what it turns out is he's kind of becoming the boogeyman now, or not the boogeyman is the right term, but he's becoming the antagonist. He's becoming the villain here for progressives, because everywhere that there is a battle, progressive versus corporate Democrat, Jim Clyburn inserts himself. And so here he's claiming that he was going to stay out of the race entirely until he was called stupid. So here's what it says. It says House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, whose endorsement helped push Shontel Brown over the finish line on Tuesday in the Democratic House primary for Ohio's 15th district, said he did not plan to weigh in on the race until he was called stupid. I was going to stay right here in South Carolina minding my business until I got called stupid, Clyburn told Axios on Wednesday. And so what it ends up saying here is it says the 81-year-old Democrat told Axios that he only decided to make an endorsement after Turner, during an economic town hall hosted by the liberal group the Young Turks, agreed with Killer Mike that Clyburn was, quote, incredibly stupid for supporting Biden in the primaries. He told Axios that he thought Turner was too divisive for Congress. Clyburn also said he was frustrated by Killer Mike and Turner, claiming that the only victories Democrats have gotten from Biden is the establishment of Juneteenth as a federal holiday. He went on to name a number of accomplishments he says he has helped deliver during the Biden administration, including tenets of the bipartisan infrastructure package and the adoption of his anti-poverty formula. These are creations, and to say all we got out of endorsing Joe Biden was a federal holiday, Clyburn said, that's the kind of BS that sent me to Cleveland. And it also goes to note Hakeem Jeffries, who's a pretty high-ranking Dem. I think he's actually like second or third in line for speakership, I think. And he's slamming the extreme left after Brown's win in Ohio. So this is going to be a long fight. He's 81 years old, so I don't know how much longer he's going to serve for. He could definitely serve for another 9 years, potentially at least. But, you know, he's an old guy, but he is definitely a corporate Democrat. He is somebody who he took a lot of money from Big Pharma, man, like over $1 million. So he's a conservative Democrat, and he is following progressives everywhere that they go to defeat them. So he's now kind of becoming that, he's kind of taking that villain role now at this point for the progressives, following all the way up from South Carolina over north up to Ohio to defeat Nina Turner. So Clyburn's trying to tout like some very measly, pretty measly garbage, essentially. The bipartisan infrastructure package is straight ass. Like, it's so little. It's garbage. I don't know how long people are going to take this little, crumbs, this garbage that they're giving. But essentially, obviously Nina Turner and Killer Mike are correct that he was stupid for supporting Joe Biden in the primaries. But this is a long-term battle, essentially, and you're going to have to convince people in the long term to support progressives over Democrats like Jim Clyburn. It's what you're going to have to do. I still think that Nina Turner would have won even if Clyburn was in there, but if there wasn't so much outside spending in favor of Shontel Brown. There was a total of $3.5 million of outside spending, mean non-direct campaign spending, means PACs and super PACs, groups outside of the campaigns that supposedly conduct themselves independently. $3.5 million of that, over $2 million came from the PAC, the Dem Majority for Israel PAC. So that's Americans donating to this PAC for the sole purpose of being pro-Israel. So that was over $2 million. I think it was like 2.2. The total expenditures was like 3.5 million. So just that one group, that pro-Israeli group, poured in so much fucking money because Nina Turner was pro-Palestinian. And so there was so much outside money in that race that was coming in. And it just goes to show you how much power the pro-Israeli lobby holds. It's really crazy where, they pass all of these laws in these state governments for, the BDS bills. That's what they were doing. That's how they got them through, was all the money that they poured in. And so when you see this kind of stuff, man, it's really crazy, and people need to point it out more. It needs to be more in the news. Like, hey, 3.5 million in total outside campaign expenditures. Over 2 million came from one PAC, the Democratic Majority for Israel PAC. So pro-Israel issue is literally dictating the entire outcome of the race. It's fucking insane. It's bonkers. The issue of whether or not you're pro-Israel, that special interest group is effectively overriding everything else. It's fucking insane, right? It's so bonkers. So I do believe Nina Turner would have won if that didn't happen, if there wasn't so much outside spending that would lead to all these advertisements that were smearing Nina Turner. But, this is going to be a long-term fight. We've obviously notched a bunch of wins. You're going to lose some as well. The one benefit potentially is, remember, this is a special election for Ohio 11th. So there's going to be another election, next June for the primary. So, Nina Turner should just run again. You know what I mean? Just run again, especially since there's the ethics probe going into Shontel Brown. And even if it weren't, honestly, I mean, it's only every 2 years is the election. That's pretty fast, right? It's just 2 years. So it's an easy way to do that. So that's something that I think that she should definitely do. But this is a long-term race. You're going to have to convince people these are going to be your enemies for a while, and you're going to have to figure out how to navigate the waters here. But Jim Clyburn is an absolute sellout. He's a corporate shill. He's a conservative Democrat. And, you know what I mean? He's got to be defeated. He's got to be defeated.